Hi everyone. Sorry for the long hiatus on YouTube. I'm hoping that actually I can feel it that I will be posting more video content in the coming days and weeks. I was pulled off of YouTube and sent into a place where I needed to really work on myself and really focus on what that meant and work through my own stuff. Big upgrades for me from the spring until now. I feel like I'm finally coming into my place. I'm really ready to share my truth, really stand in what that is. And the procrastination is so little. I can't even tell you, it's so amazing. If you want to do the work for anything, do it for that. I will tell you, this is like the most magical feeling. I just do things. I don't put a lot of time into it anymore. That's one of the biggest expansions I've had. And it took a lot to go through. And tonight I kept hearing, you have to record the video. You can't wait till tomorrow. So here I am. And tonight they want me to do a reading on the upcoming energies for early next week. So we have a new moon on Tuesday, I believe. I looked this up before I started. You think I would be on the ball. Dates and time are very weird for me now. So the 24th, 25th time range is a new moon, but there's also a solar eclipse. Anytime we have eclipse energy, there's endings, new beginnings, big transitions. Yes, it can happen on the global scale or maybe in your local state or country you're in or region, but there's also big shifts that happen within us where there's this new energy that is born through us through these eclipses. They're not places of like slow movement or time to catch up movement. It's bam, done. And there are big shifts coming in for us individually as well as the group consciousness. But tonight, I really want to focus on what is coming for each of us from your higher self's perspective. My work is focused on working with your higher self, deepening that connection to him or her so that you can start to really understand the true power that you hold within you that wants to be reborn through you. You are far more than meets the eye. You have mastered gifts in other lifetimes. You've mastered knowledge in other lifetimes. You have already ascended in other lifetimes. You're just back in this one because there's something in this one that your higher self is trying to master in this go around. But those gifts that you've mastered in other lifetimes can help you now. And your higher self can show you what is in the way of you having that. And it has nothing to do with what's happening outside. That is, in essence, a reflection of what's happening within all of us. All of our mayhem, all of our energetic trauma from past lives, future lives, ancestors are literally playing out on the world stage, not as a holy crap, I have to go hide under a rock somewhere. It's like, okay, what is my part in this? And when you chose to be born in this lifetime through whatever family line you chose to come in to work on these things in order to heal so that you can have a different future. Even though time isn't linear, I'm not going to get into that today, how that all works. It can be a complicated topic. It is something that I could share in another video. But tonight, I really want to focus on this new moon eclipse energy. Now, if you're United States, you're not going to see this. This is happening on the other side of the world. Pretty much Eastern Europe, Russia, and that area will see this partial solar eclipse. But even though it's happening on the other side of the world, it comes in with new moon energy, it still has an effect on you, regardless of where you live on this globe we call Earth. And your higher self has something that she either wants you to let go of, or something that she wants you to surrender to, or something that she wants you to allow yourself to see as a new opportunity or a new expansion. And what that is individual for each of us. Some people find eclipses really magical, and some people find it like go away, like kind of like Mercury retrograde. But you have the power, if you really step into that connection with your higher self, to find your footing as to whether you can truly step into the energy that the eclipse, the opportunity that the eclipse brings you. Now, the eclipse energy has been building for at least the last 3 weeks, so the beginning of October. And you'll get a peak of the energy the day of the eclipse, and then there'll be a 3-week integration, in essence, and I'll explain why I'm saying that in a moment. And then the moon has a 3-day build, and then a 3-day integration on the other end. So there's a lot of energy potential in this weekend, and then we have this build up of the eclipse, and some people are feeling very weary, run down, afraid. Some people like me are just like rocket ship. I just feel like I'm moving at a faster and faster rate. I don't feel overwhelmed. I just know what I need to do and I'm doing it. It feels so foreign to me, but I am loving it. And these are the opportunities, if you allow yourself to really step into them, to be able to pull that in for yourself. So I'm going to draw some cards on what your higher self wants you to maybe look at or expand into. We'll see what the cards come up and what their answer is. So I work with a group of higher self consciousness or council, if you'd like to call it. I don't know who they are. They're the people or the higher selves that I was assigned to or agreed to work with in order to affect change on this timeline on Earth. For me, it's more than likely in the United States, because that's where I live. We're all placed where we're supposed to be. We're all placed because we have work to do there to help facilitate change. United States, or potentially even the state you live in, or city, or town, or street. It can be many things. But I work with a group of higher selves that work as part of the group consciousness, to give you some direction around the events that are happening on Earth right now. They want to talk about this eclipse because it has very potent energy. It's an eclipse, but there's always shifting and changing. There's a lot of divine feminine energy rising. Maybe you feel this within you. And in that energy, there is a dragon within you that is attempting to be reborn. That's all stuff I'll share on other videos. Tonight, I'm going to just focus on the eclipse because that's what they want me to do. And they made me do it tonight. I couldn't wait till tomorrow morning. So sometimes when you're working with this energy, you feel that need to do it when it's time. So I'm doing that. So this is, I usually start with this deck. It's really great. And you can tell by how beat up this book up. This is how much I've used this. This is the Enchanted map by Colette Baron-Reid. And I do really love her cards for this type of work. I have some other cards that they also want me to pull from other decks. But this deck I use a lot. And again, you can tell by the cards are just already jumping out. But I knew this energy was going to be potent because, like I said, I was going to go eat dinner and I heard, no, you have to record this video. And I'm in that, I'm just in that flow of being there. It's such an awesome feeling. I freaking love it. And I hope that everyone gets to feel this, because it is like no worrying about what you have to do in order to do anything. Everything is just moving. It just feels great. So anyways, so one card already jumped out. So give me a moment. Flashing. That's normal. That's not my camera. It happens when I channel energy. It affects the technology, I guess, lighting. So we need to really, as much as there's a lot of chaos and drama going on wherever you look in the planet, we really need to come back to ourselves. We do help shape the reality of the consciousness, as we all are part of the consciousness, but really it starts with shaping your own reality. And you shape your own reality by healing yourself, by doing the inner work, by healing, changing limiting beliefs. From my aspect, it's more about finding the events through time, whether it's past, future, present, or ancestors, that are preventing you from really stepping into your power and finding that flow that you so desire, the abundance, the love, the success, the joy, the happiness, the peace. That really starts with us. We must find peace within ourselves before we will see peace out there. And if we have chaos within us, we will see chaos outside of us. As within, so without, as above, so below. It's the same thing. But we need to, in order to shift that, we have to look at our own inner demons, or what they call shadows. So we've got 3 cards that tell me to put them in order. Okay, fine. I guess it matters. The first card is protecting treasure. I'm sorry about the glare. It's dark outside, so I have to use a lot of lights. But this is a woman or man. Actually, it's a woman on a treasure chest under an umbrella, and it's raining. I mentioned before about the divine feminine. She's tired, I'm hearing, but yet really invigorated. When I say tired, they're showing me she's just tired of the same merry-go-round ride that she's been on for centuries, if not tens of thousands of years, where she's been belittled, seen as evil, deprogrammed, where everyone wants to be able to have the success and the abundance that we want without honoring her. They're saying you have treasure within you, but in order to tap into it, you have to remember her. And it doesn't matter whether you are a man or a woman, we all have the divine masculine and feminine within us. The feminine side gets the bad rap all the time. Depending on what society you live in, there's, women are seen as weak, or not being able to make their own choices, or unworthy, just not being seen as equal. So in this time that we're in, and I mean, this is definitely true in the United States right now, the divine feminine feels betrayed, I'm hearing. She feels unheard. She's just wet, standing in the rain. She feels like she's tired of being rained on, like rain on your parade. She's saying that she feels like no matter what she does, someone always rains on her parade. She can never expose what's in the treasure chest, she always has to protect it from the rain. There's this element of not being able to be free to express how she actually feels. Now, the feminine is all about feeling. She is not the logical, analytical part of you. She is that creative flow, which flows through you through the emotions. And the emotions aren't bad. Many people are afraid to feel, potentially from even early childhood wounds, where you were taught that it wasn't strong or it wasn't safe to express your emotions. I remember as a kid hearing, when I was upset, to put my big girl pants on or to swallow it. And in that, we push down that divine feminine essence within us. That's how she expresses through us, through feeling. We need that feeling. That's how we feel the world. But it's how we discover more about ourselves. How do we have inner peace if you don't actually know what that feels like? Maybe you've never had that in your life, but yet you want it, but you have to figure out what prevents you from having it. And once you do, you find what's in that treasure chest. And that treasure chest could be a feeling. It could be inner peace or happiness or abundance or flow or grace or joy, unconditional love. It could be so many things. There's so many different emotions. But she's saying, I never get a break. I'm always on the defensive. And she's tired of being on the defensive. From the work I'm doing with some of my paid programs, I will tell you that she is no longer, not for much longer, going to be under this umbrella. She might be throwing it a bit. She is on the cusp of rising again. And she's saying, I will take no prisoners. There's anger there. And anger's not bad. It's just how it's expressed. If you use it to hurt someone else, then you are just perpetuating the hurt. Hurt people. But there's this compassionate anger. If you think of Kuan Yin or Sekhmet from the Egyptian pantheon, they have that energy of compassion, which can come off as anger, but it's comes from a place of love, unconditional love. So another word for this would be tough love. Expressing anger with the intent to bring change instead of to hurt is entirely a different thing. And the feminine can be that. She is fierce. She is not weak at all. With the work that I'm doing in this program, and in this program, they're, as I receive information for myself, I'm sharing it with them. And there's this dragon energy that comes with the feminine that is so strong, so fierce, but yet soft. It's gentle. It's inviting. It's warm. But yet when the time comes for that feminine to express itself through you, through your actions, it is fierce. And it's that fierceness that we fear. And there's more to it than that. And, I don't want this video to be super long, and I could go into all of that, but wherever you are with your divine feminine, and whatever that means to you, you must allow the energy of that to start to flow through you. Stop hiding her. She's that creative energy. Allow yourself to do the work to be able to express your emotions in safe ways, or just be able to express them in general, because many people were told that that's weak to do. Like, if you're not happy, you're not a good person. But anger and sadness and grief are normal. They're part of the human expression. It's only when we allow ourselves to sit in it for days, weeks, months, and years, when it just boils and boils and boils, that it causes problems. if you can allow yourself to feel the anger, feel the sadness, feel the grief, and allow yourself to really tap into what that is, you allow the feminine to express herself through you. Don't beat yourself up if you have a loss. Now, it could be anything. Allow yourself to grieve. But also know that in time you need to start to move past it and figure out what you need to heal to move past it. You can do that for your own, or you can do that, you can find somebody who can help you through that. I have my own energy healing modality called Higher Self Alchemy, and I can teach you how you can actually work through the emotions that are coming up to figure out what event in a past life or future life or this life is actually causing you to maybe get stuck in anger or sadness or grief or guilt or shame, so that you can start to move the energy of the feminine within you. When you block that, she can't move. That's how she expresses through you. And through that, you also allow the creative energy to flow. The creative energy is expressed through emotion. Yeah, you can paint, you can go to an instructional class and paint or draw and follow all that. And there isn't necessarily a lot of creative energy in that. But even if you doodled, if you allowed yourself to just write words on a piece of paper, or you colored in a coloring book, or you just put paint on canvas, there's still an energy, an emotional energy to that creative energy that is expressing through you. Yes, you can go much deeper into that and really allow that feminine energy to express herself through paint, drawing, music. Get a drum and just beat on it. It doesn't have to be in rhythm. We judge ourselves so much with creativity and we block it. Maybe you don't think you can draw or paint, just scribble. That scribbling is allowing that feminine energy to come through. It doesn't have to be pretty, and it isn't always pretty. I drum. I also paint, but I have been drawn to the drum. And when I try to keep a rhythm, it doesn't work. I receive light language and play it on a drum. Light language, if you've ever used it, doesn't sound normal or melodic at all. It's something that our subconscious understands and our higher self does. It's magic to their ears, but maybe not to our own. So allow that energy to flow. Stop trying to protect it. Stop trying to wait for it to be the right time, the safe time to show it. It is time for us, all of us, to allow this energy to be expressed through us. It is time to remember our creative roots. It's time to allow, they're saying, messy creative energy to be released. Okay? So if this weekend you feel the need to, I don't know, go to Michael's, that's what our local craft store is, and buy paper to scribble on or paint, follow it. It doesn't have to be perfect. You're not painting a masterpiece. You're painting or drawing or drumming or singing for your soul to release and receive something or expand something that doesn't come through the act of perfection. It comes through your ability to just allow that energy to flow through you. Stop protecting it. And as I work with the divine feminine more, I'm realizing more and more that we're not necessarily afraid of what other people will think of it. We are afraid of it. We are afraid of it not being perfect. Creative energy is messy. Let it out. Okay. And this card was upside down, but I will show you right side up first. This is coming apart. So is this way. Which makes it an entirely different picture, doesn't it? Looks like a very strange butterfly. They're saying that many of us feel like we're coming apart at the seams, like everything's falling apart, no matter what we do. everything seems to maybe not work in the order that we want it to. And there is that essence. And it's happening for a reason. We are going through a rebirthing process. I can't remember what it's called, but there's a symbol where there's like a snake eating a tail. And in order for there to be a new beginning, there has to be an ending. And that, yes, that means sometimes we have to go through some bumps where we have to realize that some of the things that we're keeping in our life are not good for us. And I'm not a proponent of somebody to, sell all your belongings or sell your house or whatever. It's about letting go of the emotional attachment to those things, so that when your higher self comes and says, I want you to go do this, you don't go, oh, but I can't. And you're ready. So in order for that to happen, we must allow ourselves to come apart. They're saying we need to peel back the layers to be able to see what's at the core. And how many layers there are, no idea. It's different for each of us, and you must honor that process. But in order for you to feel like you are together, or that you are in your power, and that you really can create the life that you so desire, you first must come apart. It's part of the ending. We are, in essence, letting go of our old self and allowing a new self to be born. Well, that means that we need that part to come apart. And that may mean that you maybe make some choices that might surprise you. Get rid of toxic people in your life. Decide to let go of the need to stay at a toxic job. And that doesn't mean quitting the job, but letting go of the energy of that you need to stay there. I worked a job for like 12 years, hated it, sucked the living soul out of me every day. But I went because I felt obligated to go. It's letting go of that energy, because when you let go of that energy and a new opportunity comes, you're just like, bye, see ya, because the other energy doesn't exist. So we need that to come apart. And upside down, it is a butterfly, which goes to the next card. So we have this. The cards always go together. If you can stop or just step into honoring the feminine and however she wants to express herself through you, and it'd be different for each of us. You could even just be in nature and allow yourself to connect to her. I'm seeing people playing in streams. Now, it's a bit cold here. I guess the water's kind of cold at this point. We've had a couple of frosts. The water's not that warm, but who knows? Maybe there's still something even with playing in the cold water. Or just walking in the woods as the leaves fall down around you. It is definitely fall here. Today it was raining leaves. But as you allow this to happen, you start to come apart. And that means some of the ideals and the perceptions and the truths that you thought you knew will peel away. Or the things you thought you needed in order to walk in the status quo or belong in this world will start to fall away. Because as you allow yourself to express this energy, which is the feminine, who feels like she's being rained on all the time, you take that umbrella away and say, no more, life will change. And there's magic that comes after this, because the next card is Metamorphosis, which is transmutation, change from one thing to another. Butterflies all over this card with a couple of flamingos on the bottom. I don't know too much about flamingo energy, but I know what butterflies are. We don't see a lot of flamingos around here, so it's not something that I would be aware of. If you wanted to talk about coyotes or foxes or raccoons, Opossum, squirrels. We have a lot of those. And sometimes they're not called lynxes, but a bobcat or two. Then that energy is around. These cards go together. Like, if the key to allowing a new world to be expressed. Now I understand why they needed me to have these in a certain order. We allow ourselves to stop trying to protect this rain from us and allow ourselves to, they're saying, cry it out, to let it go, to release it, feel it. We start to break apart, but we break apart the heaviness that keeps us stuck. We must allow this process to happen. There's nothing wrong with it. Yes, it can be scary. Believe me, I've been through enough of my own stuff, working through my own stuff, and even with my own clients. They're saying, but what we seek goes through this. We can't have this without her. She needs to be released, and however that looks. And yes, there's tons of wounding around this when we talk about manifesting through the cosmic womb and the earth womb and our own womb. And even if you're a man, you still have the energetics of this. But we can't do it with allowing ourselves to express her. We can't just do the parts that we feel we need and ditch the rest. We need to allow the rain to fall on us, which is the tears. And she is sad and she does feel betrayed, which I get. You know, she's been bastardized for millennia, all the way back to Atlantis. So of course we have this need to protect her and we're afraid to show her. But we need her. And we need you to express her through you, however that looks. And it's not going to be pretty. So it brings up this uncomfortableness of being seen as different or out of control or not put together properly. That's not the divine feminine. That's not who she is. Creativity is messy. You don't always get it right. You play with it, you play with the energy until it does feel right. But you have to let yourself feel the emotions. Allow the rain to start to wash them away so that you can allow whatever's in this treasure chest to be birthed, to move through you. Everyone's treasure chest is different. Yeah, there's some similarities in what's in there, but for the most part, it's different. You have your own unique gifts and knowledge that you brought to this lifetime for your own purpose and potentially to help the people around you or larger populations. It just depends on what your soul contract is. And when you do this, you're gonna come apart. But this coming apart is about transmutation to allow your metamorphosis. Upside down. So we have a choice. You know, this eclipse is bringing in this choice. Are you willing to look at the feminine, to allow her to express in whatever way you feel comfortable? Maybe it starts with just a cry. In a way, there's a cry for help from the feminine within us, depending on how well you honor her. And if you allow her to start to move through you, she will manifest things in your life so that she can show you how to express that energy, but also how to heal. Because again, there's a lot of deep wounding in the feminine. But in order to get this, we have to allow this to come. And I will tell you, with the dragon energy I'm working with and the divine feminine energy that I've been working with, she is pushing at the seams. And that's where the coming apart comes from. At the beginning of October, I went on a trip, and the first day I was there, near a beach with my husband and my parents, my husband drove to where we were staying. There was supposed to be a beach, but a swan crossed right in front of us. I've been driving for years. Geese, I've had them, or ducks cross in front of us. Never a swan. They're usually in a lake by themselves. And I was just like, and it took its sweet time. And I just was like, that's odd. What is that about? And then we drove to a larger parking lot for a beach as part of the national seashore. And there was a swan sitting in the middle of the parking lot in a pothole. I mean, this parking lot is huge. I was like, this parking lot is full when I come here. I would leave. But it was in the middle of this parking lot. So two swans within, 30 minutes of each other. And the swan is the symbology of the feminine Christed consciousness, the divine feminine. Your soul is working you to that by working through this. Just like there's a Christ consciousness that everyone talks about, there's a feminine Christed consciousness that, let's say, Mary Magdalene or Mother Mary showed us, as well as Goddess Isis and some of the other Egyptian pantheon. But in order to get that feminine Christed consciousness to flow through us, we must first face our shadows and our feminine. And yeah, you might come apart a bit, but it's time. And I feel like this is going to be like quick hitting, because on November 8th, there's a lunar eclipse. And I believe the full moon is around there as well. So then we don't even get 3 weeks to integrate this before there's another eclipse. So these 2 weeks in between could potentially be really potent. It's not something to be scared of, but it's something to be aware of, that it's about this energy. And that we need to come to terms with her and allow her to be expressed in the way she feels to be expressed. And for those of us who are already allowing that feminine energy to flow through us, we need to speak up. We need to allow that energy to be shown in the world, so to be leaders for others, to know that it's safe to finally show her. Because it's now. Time is now. That's it for these cards. I thought that they wanted me to use other cards. But these cards really paint the picture as to why they wanted me to do this video and not wait. It's a really important message. And, not everyone, including myself, have the weekend off, but many of us do. I don't, because I have my own business, and there's no such thing as weekends or weekdays. It's whenever I feel like working on my business. And some people have jobs that require them to work on the weekend, but hopefully you get time off and you can take time to just sit with yourself. There's, and I'll put it in the description of the video, there's a YouTube meditation that I've been listening to. It's just music, and it really allows the divine feminine to move through you. You can try listening to that and just sitting and breathing and just honoring what comes up in your body. If you feel like crying, let it out. If you feel shame or guilt, just allow it to transmute. Your higher self knows how to get that to move, so you can start to honor, express your divine feminine, and really find that divine feminine powerhouse that lives within each of us. to allow that to be expressed. It can feel, like I said, that angry, compassionate energy, but behind that, there's a soft gentleness. And just, just like we can be on and off. We can be hot and cold, the same type of thing. But you got to let that energy start to percolate. This eclipse is like a on switch. So if you're already not playing in the arena of allowing the feminine to come through and expressing her in safe ways, meaning, some creative endeavor, and that can be anything. Even playing with your kids can be creative. But they're saying, yes, creative things happen with your kids, but they really want you to find your own creative points. It's great to be in the presence of kids because they look at the world so differently, and creativity, it's just almost like in their blood. But we need to find that in ourselves and do it for ourselves, not just for our kids. Our kids are not an excuse or reason to play. We have to find our own play within us, and however that wants to be expressed, whether it's some type of craft or art or writing, painting, drumming, singing, singing in your car full blast, that's releasing creative energy. And allowing yourself to maybe dance and getting that energy to move. It wants to move. And you want that change, you want that abundance, you want all these things. We're at the end of October pretty much, so we have 2 more months before the end of 2022. If you want 2023 to be like the best years yet, you gotta let this happen. I am running a free 6-week training, which is based on my book, Unleash Your Inner Tiger, Strength, Power, and Beauty, which you can get on Amazon, for you to start to dig into the reasons why you can't own your own power and allow yourself to express yourself the way Source created you to do so. So what do you think? What do you find in your way of allowing yourself to, front card, allow this out? Put the umbrella away and allow yourself to feel the emotions so you can remember what's in that treasure chest. She's waiting for you. And again, it doesn't matter, male or female, we all have this. Can you let her out? And then if not, why not? Because this depends on it. Oops. And remember, when you change, you help change the group consciousness so that we can live in a happier place. And the divine feminine wants to be in balance with Earth badly. So there's a lot coming in this. But you need to allow that energy to express itself some way. So how are you going to do that? Drop me a comment below and tell me how you like to allow this energy to flow. And if you don't know, what are you going to play with the idea? Or let your higher self show you. She will more than happily show you if you say, just show me how to move the energy. And then follow the breadcrumbs. Don't go, oh, I can't do that. I'm not crafty. No, follow it. Because it will lead to something about you discovering something about yourself that you didn't know. Okay, so have a good night, morning, wherever you are, and I will talk soon. Bye for now.